10 years ago, she ruined my life. She called me a cockroach. She pushed me into lockers. She made sure I ate my lunch alone in the bathroom stall. Yesterday, that same girl knelt on the cold floor of my office.
Please, I am begging you for mercy.
She was sobbing.
I have nowhere
She was trembling.
else to go.
She grabbed the hem of my
Please do
pants
not do
and begged
this to
me for mercy. She had no idea that the man holding her entire future in his hands was the same boy she tried to destroy. What happens when your worst nightmare becomes your servant? Stay tuned, because this story has a twist you will never see coming. Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. Also, leave a comment below and tell me, where in the world are you watching this video from? I love reading your comments. Now let us begin. Some people say that school days are the best days of your life. For me, school was a living hell. My name is Ethan. Growing up, I was not the cool kid. I was not athletic. I wore oversized clothes because my family could not afford brand new outfits every semester. I wore thick glasses and I carried a heavy backpack full of books. To the popular kids, I was an easy target. But nobody was meaner than Chloe Vance. Chloe was the queen bee of our high school. She was beautiful, wealthy, and cruel. Her father owned the biggest construction company in the state. She drove a brand new sports car to school on her 16th birthday. Everyone wanted to be her friend. Or, more accurately, everyone was afraid to be her enemy. For some reason, Chloe chose me as her personal punching bag. It started with small things. She would trip me in the hallway. My books would fly everywhere. The whole corridor would erupt in laughter. Chloe would just stand there, smiling her perfect white smile. "Watch where you are going, cockroach," she would say. Eventually, the bullying grew worse. She started rumors about me. She told the whole school that I smelled bad. She convinced people that my family lived in a dumpster. Soon, nobody would sit near me. If I sat at a lunch table, the other students would immediately get up and leave. I spent most of my high school lunches sitting on the floor of the handicapped bathroom stall. I ate my soggy sandwiches in silence. I cried until my eyes were red. The worst day happened during our senior year. It was winter. The snow was heavy outside. I was walking home from the public library. A flashy car slowed down next to me. The window rolled down. It was Chloe and her friends. Before I could say a word, Chloe threw a large, freezing cup of iced coffee right into my face. The cold liquid blinded me. Her friends laughed hysterically. "Clean yourself up, loser," Chloe shouted as she drove away. I stood in the freezing wind, drenched in sticky coffee, shivering and crying. That night, I made a promise to myself. I promised that I would leave this town. I promised I would work harder than anyone else. I promised that nobody would ever treat me like trash again. After graduation, I packed my single suitcase. I took out a massive student loan and went to a top-tier university across the country. I did not party. I did not make many friends. I spent every waking hour studying. I studied finance and business management. When my classmates were sleeping, I was reading market reports. When they went on spring break, I worked 2 part-time jobs. The memory of Chloe's laughter was the fuel that kept my engine running. Every time I wanted to give up, I remembered the freezing coffee on my face. After college, I started a small tech consulting firm. The first 2 years were brutal. I survived on instant noodles. I slept on the office floor. But slowly, the hard work paid off. My company began to grow. We created a unique software system that helped large corporations cut costs and manage their assets. Within 5 years, my small firm became a multi-million-dollar enterprise. By the 10-year mark, I was wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. I bought a penthouse. I wore custom-tailored suits. I changed my look entirely. I got laser eye surgery, grew a neat beard, and started working out. If you looked at a photo of me from high school, you would never recognize me today. I had completely forgotten about my hometown. I had forgotten about Chloe Vance. Or so I thought. One morning, my secretary, Sarah, walked into my office. She held a thick folder in her hands. "Mr. Vance, we have a problem with the new acquisition," Sarah said. I smiled. My last name is actually Davis, but Sarah always called me Mr. Davis. My mind raced. What is the problem, Sarah? The construction company we are buying out, Vance Enterprises. They are officially bankrupt. The owner passed away last year. His daughter took over, but she ran the business straight into the ground. They owe millions to the bank. We are their last hope. If we don't buy them out today, the bank will seize everything they own. My heart stopped. Vance Enterprises. I knew that name. It belonged to Chloe's father. I took the folder from Sarah. I opened it. There, on the front page, was a photograph of the current CEO. It was Chloe. She looked different. She still had the same facial features, but the sparkle was gone. She looked exhausted. Her eyes looked hollow. The arrogant smile was replaced by a look of sheer desperation. The universe has a strange way of working. 10 years ago, she owned the world, and I was nothing. Today, I own the world, and she was begging for a lifeline. The CEO of Vance Enterprises is waiting in the lobby, Sarah said, interrupting my thoughts. She has been there for an hour. She is desperate to see you. I leaned back in my leather chair. My mind flooded with old emotions. Anger, sadness, a strange sense of validation. Bring her in, I said calmly. But Sarah, do not introduce me by my name. Just refer to me as the chairman. Of course, sir, Sarah replied. A few minutes later, the heavy oak doors of my office opened. Chloe walked in. She was wearing a business suit, but it looked worn out. Her hair was tied back in a messy bun. She was clutching a leather briefcase like it was her shield. She kept her head down as she walked toward my desk. She looked like a prisoner walking to the executioner. Thank you for seeing me, sir, Chloe said. Her voice trembled. I did not speak immediately. I wanted her to feel the weight of the silence. I watched her closely. She did not look at my face. She kept her eyes fixed on the floor. She had no idea who I was. To her, I was just a powerful, faceless billionaire who could save her family legacy. Sit down, I said. I deepened my voice slightly. She sat on the edge of the chair. She opened her briefcase with shaking hands. She pulled out a stack of financial documents. Our company has a lot of history, Chloe began, her voice cracking. My father built it from scratch. We made some bad investments recently. The economy has been tough. But if your firm invests in us, we can turn this around. I promise you. Please, don't let the bank take our family home. I looked at the documents. I did not need to read them. I already knew her company was a sinking ship. Buying them out was actually a bad business move. The only value the company had left was its name and its remaining real estate. Why should I save you? I asked coldly. Chloe looked up for the first time. Her eyes met mine. She blinked. She looked confused for a fraction of a second. She saw something familiar in my face, but she couldn't quite place it. The nerdy boy with the thick glasses and oversized clothes was gone. Because hundreds of workers will lose their jobs, she stammered. And my mother, she is sick. The medical bills are high. If we lose the company, we lose our insurance. We lose everything. I am begging you, sir. Have mercy on us. I leaned forward. I placed my hands on the desk. Mercy. I repeated the word slowly. That is an interesting word coming from you, Chloe. She froze. Her eyes went wide. How do you know my name? We went to the same high school, I said. Chloe stared at me. She scanned my face. She looked at my eyes, my jawline, my posture. Suddenly, I saw the exact moment the realization hit her. Her face went pale. The blood drained from her lips. She gasped, covering her mouth with her hand. Ethan? She whispered. Ethan Davis? Yes, Chloe, I said, leaning back. It is me, the cockroach. The room became ice cold. Chloe looked like she had seen a ghost. She dropped her briefcase. The papers scattered across my expensive rug. She didn't care about the papers. She was staring at me in absolute horror. No, it can't be, she mumbled. It is, I said. The world is a very small place, isn't it? Tell me, Chloe, do you remember the winter of our senior year? Do you remember the iced coffee? Chloe began to cry. Big, heavy tears rolled down her cheeks. She knew she was trapped. Her entire life, her mother's health, her family's survival, all depended on the boy she used to torture for fun. Ethan, I am so sorry, she sobbed. We were young. We were stupid. It was just high school drama. Drama. I raised my voice, the anger finally breaking through my calm exterior. You forced me to eat my lunch in a filthy bathroom stall for 2 years. You made everyone treat me like a monster. You broke my spirit, Chloe. I wanted to end my life because of you. That wasn't drama. That was cruelty. Chloe stood up from her chair, but she didn't walk away. Instead, she dropped straight to her knees. She knelt on the hard floor in front of my desk. She reached out and grabbed the hem of my trousers. She was weeping uncontrollably. Please, Ethan, please don't punish my family for what I did. I was a horrible person. I know it. I hate myself for how I treated you. But my mother is innocent. My workers are innocent. If you reject this deal, we will be on the streets next month. I will do anything. I will apologize on TV. I will clean your shoes. Just please, sign the papers. Seeing her on her knees was a surreal experience. For 10 years, I had dreamed of revenge. I had imagined a moment where I could laugh in her face and watch her suffer, just like I suffered. But as I looked down at her, I didn't feel the joy I thought I would feel. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt a deep, profound sadness. I saw a broken woman who was paying for the sins of her past. I pulled my leg away from her grip. Stand up, Chloe, I said quietly. Get off the floor. She slowly got to her feet, wiping her eyes with her sleeve. She looked small. She looked miserable. Leave the office, I told her. Leave the paperwork here. I need time to think. My secretary will call you tomorrow with my final decision. Chloe nodded weakly. She didn't say another word. She turned around and walked out of the office, her shoulders slumped in defeat. That night I could not sleep. I stood on the balcony of my penthouse, looking out at the city lights. I held the power to completely destroy Chloe Vance. All I had to do was say no. If I rejected the contract, Vance Enterprises would collapse within 48 hours. The bank would repossess her house. Her family would lose their status, their money, and their dignity. It would be total poetic justice. But then, I thought about who I wanted to be. If I destroyed her, how was I any different from the bully she used to be? If I used my power to crush someone who was already down, I would become the very monster I hated. The best revenge is not destroying your enemy. The best revenge is living a successful life and showing them that they failed to break you. The next morning, I arrived at the office early. I called Sarah into my room. Sarah, get the legal team, I ordered. Tell them to finalize the acquisition of Vance Enterprises. Sarah looked surprised. Sir, the financials are terrible. It is a high-risk move. I know, I said, but we are going to restructuring the company. We will absorb their assets and save the jobs. However, there are conditions. An hour later, Sarah called Chloe. Chloe arrived at the office within 30 minutes. She looked like she hadn't slept at all. She was prepared for the worst. I pushed the signed contract across the desk. Chloe looked at the signature. Her eyes widened. You signed it? You saved us. I signed it, I said calmly. The bank will be paid off by noon today. Your family home is safe. Your mother's insurance will continue. Chloe burst into tears again, but this time, they were tears of relief. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you. I don't deserve this. You are right, you don't, I said coldly. But I am not doing this for you. I am doing this for your employees and your family. And I am doing it for myself, because I am not a monster. I leaned forward, looking directly into her eyes. Here are my conditions, I continued. You will no longer be the CEO. You are not fit to run this company. You will be demoted to an entry-level manager position. You will work in the cubicles with the regular staff. You will receive a standard salary. You will work hard, you will be humble, and you will report to a manager that I appoint. Chloe didn't hesitate. She nodded vigorously. I accept. I will take any job. Thank you for giving me a chance to work. One last thing, I said. If I ever hear of you treating a single employee with disrespect, if I ever see a hint of the bully you used to be, you will be fired instantly without severance. Do you understand? I understand, Chloe said softly. She signed the employment contract. She thanked me one last time and left my office. From that day on, Chloe worked at the company as a regular employee. I watched her progress through monthly reports. She changed completely. She became quiet, hardworking, and respectful to everyone around her. The luxury life she once knew was gone, replaced by the reality of hard work. As for me, I finally felt free. The weight of the past was gone. I realized that keeping hate in your heart only hurts you. By forgiving her, I didn't just save her family. I saved myself from my own bitterness. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have saved her, or would you have let her lose everything? Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like the video and share it with your friends. See you in the next story.